degeneration. Then you get something called glaucoma. I'm sure some of you have got family or friends that have got glaucoma. And all glaucoma is, it means there's pressure behind the eyes. So I'll show you some pictures just now on how somebody with glaucoma looks. Then cataract. Cataract is when the lens in the eye goes a bit cloudy, so they can't see very clearly. And then the last common one is something known as diabetic retinopathy. Now that's linked to diabetes. For people who have very high blood sugar levels, they start getting damage in the eye because of that high blood sugar levels. Let's look at some pictures. Okay, this is a picture of what the eye looks like for when you got damage in the eye. And this is somebody who's got this macular degeneration. This is how they will see somebody. So you'll see there's a patch where they won't be able to see. There'll be like a black spot because they've got damage in the eye. Then if we look at, okay, I mentioned glaucoma, which is pressure in the eye. So there's a picture just showing you've got pressure behind your eye. And if you want to see a person with glaucoma, this is how they will see. So if they're looking at a flower like a daisy, they'll see also a bit of cloudiness in the middle. Or if they're looking at that same picture of a boy holding the soccer ball, you'll see a lot of light around it. So that's how they will see if somebody's got glaucoma, because of the pressure in the eye. Then we get cataracts. Cataracts, I said, is where the lens goes all cloudy. So you can see the bottom picture goes, that lens in the eye starts going cloudy. And this is how they will see somebody. So it's also very phased out. It's a very cloudy picture that they will see. And then the last one, firstly, this is a picture of actually what somebody looks like when they do have cataracts. Their eyes almost look a bit glassy with a little bit of white, and that's somebody who's got cataracts. And then this is from diabetes. You really just have damage to the eye. And this is how somebody who's got diabetic retinopathy, so they see these black patches when they look at somebody. So a flower will also have black patches in the middle, or the person will also have black patches around it. So all of these conditions affects your vision. Now, one of the most interesting things to notice with all these eye conditions is they all are preventable by doing certain things in your lifestyle or your diet. So I'm going to just look briefly at some of them. The first one is to eat the right foods, to eat fruit and vegetables, because that helps keep your eyes healthy. Very important. The next one is to maintain a healthy weight, because what they find is if you're overweight, you're also more susceptible to getting diabetes and high blood pressure and all those conditions, and all of those also affect your eyesight. So it's important to maintain a healthy weight for your eye health as well. Then to wear protective eyewear. Very important for people who work outside with a lot of dust, or if they work in factories where, for example, if they're cutting wood or there's a lot of dust in the air, you must make sure you wear some kind of protective eyewear. And this is also appropriate when you go out into the sun. If you're going to be bright light in the sun, try and wear some kind of sunglasses. Don't forget that, because that just protects your eyes and long term will prevent you getting any of those conditions. Don't smoke. Everybody always says, oh, smoking affects so many different things. And yes, it affects your eyesight as well. So smokers are more prone to having eye problems. And then the last one is rest your eyes. Particularly now that we're working a lot on computers and that kind of thing, you must make sure that if you don't stare at the computer screen all day, but that you give your eyes time to rest. So if you work for 20 minutes, then look up for about 2 minutes and just make sure you look at something else, so you give your eyes a bit of rest. And then a very important thing as well, to try and keep your eyes healthy. But to elaborate a bit further on these, and the one that's linked to us is obviously the nutrition side, as we're talking about eat healthy. And who best to tell us more about that than our own dietitian at Sportron. So I'm going to hand over to Anne to just give you a bit more information about that.
Thanks, Alicia. I need the click there. I think you'll all agree with me that vision is a very precious gift. And Salisha was just talking now about what we eat. It really is important to eat correctly because you can affect your vision. And look at this information. It's coming out of the Journal of Endocrinology, Metabolism and Diabetes. That diabetic eye disease is the leading cause of visual impairment in developing countries. This is quite shattering a bit, because if it's preventable, why is it affecting so many people? Control of blood sugar and control of blood pressure are essential. And these are two things that we can make choices about and control. Sure, not everybody can control their blood pressure and their blood sugar without the help of medication, but many people can. And it goes about the choices we make when it comes to this, and this affects our eyesight. Look at this slide. 40% of people who get diabetes get eye disease. That's quite frightening, because your vision affects everything you do every single day of your life. Let's go on to hidden hunger. Now, what do I mean by hidden hunger? Well, what it really means is that people are well fed. In other words, there's enough food, but they're not well nourished. They do not have the micronutrients and the vitamins and minerals to process their food. And hidden hunger then causes significant health problems, and one of them is eye disease. Today, our food does not contain a fraction of the nutrients that it did 100 years ago. Why? Because of refining and milling and processing and the adding of additives, plus sugar, cornstarch syrup, and hydrogenated fats that have trans fatty acids that damage your blood vessels. Now, we could blame the food industry for all of this, but think about it. The food industry sells to the consumer. The consumer actually likes refined food because it gives taste and texture, and they like the sweetness. But it has a very significant effect on our health. This little rat, if given the chance, will eat the wheat germ and center of the wheat, where all the nutrients are, and won't eat the starch. What do we humans do? We eat the food that the rat won't eat. Because with refining and milling, all we eat is the sterile remains. Okay, so in the third world, and that includes South Africa, the answer to this hidden hunger was thought to be in fortification. In other words, to add nutrients to the food we have now refined so that we will be able to process the rest of the refined food we're eating. Whoopsie. But you know what? Some of these things that they add to fortify the food are quite toxic. They are poorly absorbed, so then they are absolutely useless to us. And they really act in the body in a manner in which they're supposed to. So with the exception of two nutrients, iodine and folic acid, the answer has not been in fortification of food. Oops. In 1999, there was a food consumption survey in South Africa to determine what nutrients needed to go into our food. And once these were determined, there was a follow-up survey in 2005. And at the follow-up survey, I'm singling out specifically vitamin A. 2 of 3 children and 1 of 4 women had too little vitamin A. this shouldn't have been happening because the prevalence of vitamin A deficiency had actually got worse after the fortification program. Well, it's complex, and I think that there are many reasons why the fortification program wasn't the success it should have been in terms of managing our hidden hunger. But I'm suggesting that there is one really significant reason, and that's because form matters. And here at Sportron, we have food state technology. I heard some people feeling excited. Aren't you excited about food state technology? I mean, it's the defining reason why our products are really so very special. And the food state molecule you can see here, it will be on your left, with all its carrier molecules so that it's well absorbed and well utilized by the body, is the form in which fortification should be done, not the little isolated vitamin C that is shown on the right-hand side of your slide. So we have, in Sportron, we have nutritional intelligence with food state technology, which guarantees you optimal absorption, targeted delivery. In other words, your micronutrients go to the place where they are needed. And the food state nutrients are glyconutrient rich. So, we know that age-related eye disease can be prevented. We know vision and eyesight depend on vitamin A intake. Vitamin A is terribly important, and that's why I highlighted earlier that the vitamin A status of the South African people had actually got worse. This is serious for eye disease. And we know that dietary components are important in maintaining eye health into old age. Shall I say older age? Nobody goes into old age. We just move on gracefully, not so? So, we did some thinking here, and Celicia did some serious work, and today we've got a serious new product to bring you. Right. I've got a few questions to ask Celicia.
Before we get to the questions, just to, as I mentioned, all those diseases, those 4 diseases, if you don't treat any of them, what happens is that you can end up blind. So if you've got any of those, if we can prevent it, why not? And 80% of it can be prevented just by nutrition. So we've taken that information, and we've taken the information on the food state and saying, giving you the nutrients you need, and we know you're not getting it from your food. And we've put it together in a new product called iGuard. There you can see that's what the bottle looks like. The iGuard comes in a bottle of 30 capsules. It's got a whole lot of ingredients in there. I've put the code and all that on there. But let's give you some more information about the iGuard.
First, I want to know, are food state nutrients in iGuard?
Of course, we can't have a product if we don't have food state in, when we know that nutrition is important for your eyesight. So as you can see from there, the first blend we've put in is, there's a whole lot of food state antioxidants. Now, antioxidants are very good for our eyes. They help us keep healthy eyes, and they prevent any of those eye diseases. So we've put in beta-carotene, vitamin C, vitamin E, selenium, zinc, and copper. So quite a few vitamins and minerals that are antioxidants, and all in a food state form.
It sounds good, but I talked about vitamin A, and I don't see any vitamin A in your iGuard. Tell us more.
Okay, beta-carotene is actually a form of vitamin A. You get beta-carotene from fruits and carrots and any yellow containing fruits and vegetables. And when you eat those, your body converts that beta-carotene to vitamin A. So we are giving you vitamin A in the form of beta-carotene. And beta-carotene is a much safer form of vitamin A to give you because it won't build up in the body and cause any toxicity.
Okay, I'll believe you and I'll accept that we'll get vitamin A from it. Okay, well, what else is in it then?
Okay, as with all our product formulations, we won't only give you vitamins and minerals, but we'll give you a whole lot of herbal ingredients that are also very important for that particular condition. And in the case of iGuard, we've used these 4 herbals. They're called lutein, zeaxanthin, grapeseed extract, and bilberry. All of these are also very, very powerful antioxidant ingredients, and they've done lots of studies at the World Health Organization showing that these are the ingredients that will help prevent eye disease.
Lutein and zeaxanthin are certainly buzzwords around eye disease and eye health and eye nutrition. Won't you tell us some more about these nutrients?
Okay, lutein and zeaxanthin are both ingredients that are also found in plants, particularly things like spinach and sweet corn and oranges. So you do get that from your diet. But again, when they did the research, they were finding that we don't get enough of these nutrients from those foods we're eating. And that's why it's important, if you've got any eye conditions or any risk for eye conditions, that you do take these in extra. Now, lutein and zeaxanthin are both ingredients that help protect the eye from the UV light. And we get UV light in our eyes from the sun. So, as I mentioned earlier, if you're in the sun a lot, try and wear some kind of sunglasses or protection, or even any other kind of light. It's all linked to UV, and that can cause damage in the eye if you're exposed to it often. But if you're taking lutein and zeaxanthin, they will protect your eyes from that UV and from the damaging effects it has on your eyes.
Okay, we also know we've got a really good product with omega-3 fatty acid in it, but why can't you put omega-3 in here? I mean, we need it for our eyes, so